Hey, what's up everybody? I hope everything's going great with you guys. We're taking it to the skies today to dive into just an adrenaline pumping action flick from 1994. It's called Drop Zone, starring Wesley Snipes, Gary Busey, and Yancy Butler. I think it's a bit of a forgotten film in Snipes' filmography, but it still holds up as a fun, wild summer action thriller. So let's get into it. Drop Zone sees Snipes playing U.S. Marshal Pete Nessip while transporting a computer hacker on a flight. He and his brother are caught in a mid-air hijacking that results in Nessip's brother dying. So naturally he goes on a mission to seek revenge, to find answers and find justice. No one of course believes Nessip's claims, and his search for answers pulls him deep into the subculture of skydiving, where he meets Jess Crossman, played by Yancy Butler, who essentially becomes his partner as they try to bring down a group of skydiving criminals led by Gary Busey's just comically maniacal Ty Moncrief. So it's easy to see the structure is familiar to many other action flicks. However, I think where Drop Zone really thrives is in the unique elements and the energy that it plugs into this recycled structure. First, you have the world of skydiving, which is such an appealing realm that's just perfect for high stakes action and visually appealing stunt work, all of which Drop Zone provides. Sure, the suspension of disbelief needs to be dialed up a notch or two, or maybe even 4 or 5, but I mean, there are so many edge your seat moments to have fun with in this movie. The choreography really is stunning. The camera work, I think, frames the action perfectly to really pull you up into the skies, to have you feeling the tension of these sequences. The story is admittedly nonsensical to say the least, but I mean, it still manages to work in all the aerial stunts into the narrative just enough to create an engaging story that's loaded with adventure and a perfect summer atmosphere, because I mean, you really don't give two shits about the story.
Would you care for some wine?
Thanks, but I only drink wine by candlelight.
Well, I might be able to help you with that.
Because in a movie like this, you want action, you don't really want to think piece. The South Florida locations serve up an appealing escape as Nessip heads into unfamiliar territory. The movie pulls you into the subculture and it feels kind of fresh. Yancy Butler was a strong female lead that could really hold her own as Jess Crossman. She's confident and capable, and I think along with Nessip, this movie has two strong, capable heroes. And of course, with every hero, you need a villain, and I think Gary Busey just amps up the crazy to delightful levels here to give the movie a charismatic and equally cartoonish bad guy. He has a real deep crew of criminal partners. They give Nessip, Crossman, and their team a real tough fight throughout this movie. I think it gives the film more moving pieces, which allows for more areas of action, and it keeps the pace moving as fast as the action feels. It's of course all a bit silly at times, but still appealing at the same time. The performances are all engaging and filled with personality and varying levels of appealing gusto, and Snipes is his cool, confident, suave self, and I think he's just the perfect contrast to the sadistic eccentricities of Busey's character. And as I mentioned earlier, I just love the summer vibe this movie pumps out. I watch Drop Zone every year. The sunshine, the blue skies, the beaches, the rock music just blend in to create an inviting mood. So where it may follow many of the genre cliches, I think it's still able to infuse its own impression to create something kind of unique out of a bunch of recycled elements.
Get him! God damn!
Because I think Drop Zone certainly does build a definitive tone while watching, and I think it complements the plot and the mid-air action perfectly. I think skydiving really adds a lot of excitement to the story. It creates fun spots of uneasiness and just clammy palm moments. There are moments where it's used for humor and others where it's used for high-stakes melodrama, and I think it all works. I think Snipes really does get to have some of his trademark ass-kicking littered in there as well, with a couple of fun fight sequences. The finale delivers some gunplay, some killing, some hand-to-hand combat, and plenty of just creative set pieces that, as absurd as they are still a treat to sit back and watch. And those are my thoughts on Drop Zone, guys. If you haven't seen this one, I highly recommend it. Snipes was at his peak during this time in his career. This role was originally offered to Steven Seagal, but I think Snipes was the far superior choice. He was able to infuse the character with his suave charm and his athleticism to really lead this action thriller with ease, and while Drop Zone may be a bit forgotten, it still holds up as a great mid-90s actioner.